Well, is that, in your opinion, why they won't debate you on the subject, or am I wrong? Have they debated you previously on this subject?
Well, they is a rather broad term. We have the only challenged many people who are within the alleged 9/11 truth movement who question our work. We've challenged virtually all of them to debate, and none of them have stepped up to the plate other than John Bursill, who's an Australian activist. We had a 2.5-hour debate. You can just Google both of our names, Craig Ranke and John Bursill, will come right up. But basically, he conceded defeat and admitted he was part of a dogma against the work, and that we'd been treated unfairly. So despite this concession and despite these admissions, he's basically fallen right back into the groupthink and continued the attacks against us this year. And this debate between us was conducted last December. But other than him, none of the people who have written articles against us are focused, on trying to push people away from our work, have been willing to step up to debate.
Okay.
And I absolutely do believe that part of this reason is because they understand they don't have a leg to stand on, and certainly this would be more evident after they engaged in honest discussion on the matter.
Right. Well, Craig, you and your fellow investigator Aldo Marquis, and also a large number of your supporters have been banned from 9/11 Blogger specifically, and faced banning and censorship at other 9/11 Truth blogs and forums as well. What are your feelings about that, and why do you think that's happening?
Yeah, well, I don't know about how it's happened to too many of them, but certainly 9/11 Blogger, there's been a concerted effort there to marginalize our work and to silence anybody who speaks out in favor of our findings, even respected individuals and credentialed individuals such as Barry Zwicker and Dwayne Dietz. So, we're talking engineers and very, very renowned journalists like Barry Zwicker. So the notion that they would silence these people and refuse to allow them to speak out in our favor on their site definitely is a warning sign. And yeah, the fact that we've been banned there is absolutely an injustice, and there really are no valid arguments for it. So Justin Keogh, I believe, is the owner of 9/11 Blogger, and we have had an exchange after he took over the site. I requested that he reinstate our accounts, and he failed to do so. He said he would not do so, and he also failed to cite a reason. Just that he has no reason. So as a result of this, there can be no other conclusion that this is absolute censorship and an effort to control the information and keep people away from our findings.
Right. Well, why do you think your findings are so threatening, not only to the official story of 9/11, but also to these other 9/11 truth seekers?
Well, there's a couple reasons we can speculate for that. Number one, I think most people are aware that cognitive infiltration is the term that's been the buzz lately within the movement since Cass Sunstein's article came out. They suggested, of course, that the government does this on purpose. So, naturally there can be an element of that within the movement here, especially if you're considering 9/11 Blogger is allegedly the most widely seen or visited 9/11 Truth site on the internet. So it would stand to reason that if they were going to try to control thought, that the perpetrators would want to control 9/11 Blogger. Now, do we have any proof that that's the case? No. So are there other motives for people to try to marginalize our work, even though they're supposedly or allegedly for 9/11 Truth?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I think so. Primarily ego, groupthink, all kinds of things. And just an ability or a refusal to admit when you're wrong.
Right.
What happened was before our work, there was a very, very strong campaign to spin people away from looking at the Pentagon attack because they believed, or they claimed, that it was inconclusive, and that there was no strong information proving what happened, and that we do have strong information at the World Trade Center, particularly regarding the controlled demolition of World Trade Center 7. So there was a very focused campaign from individuals such as Jim Hoffman, Mike Rivero, even Alex Jones, to push people away from the Pentagon attack and to get them to focus on the World Trade Center. And so after engaging in such a campaign and actually being aggressively engaging in such a campaign, once information is presented showing that, look, we do have conclusive evidence at the Pentagon, that basically shows that their entire effort to distract people away from the Pentagon was unfounded, then, ego can set in and cause people to grind their teeth or put their boots in the sand and just stick to their point, and just refuse to concede that they were wrong. So I think that's a very common phenomenon amongst egos. So when you got both of those things at play, people, cognitive infiltration, people who are deliberately putting out disinformation and controlling and manipulating people with propaganda, as well as ego and just an inability to admit when you were wrong, then, that's basically a recipe for what you see against us.
Right. Well, Craig, just conservatively speaking, how many hours of research and effort have you put into your presentations, such as National Security Alert?
Well, if you count the actual research trips and all the time we spend online and all the preparation and everything, I mean, there's no way for me to tell you that, because I spend many hours every day, even still to this day. Now, the investigation's ongoing, and we're actually at 4 years now. We've been in over 4 years. We've been, it was 4 years in August when we pretty much started our first research trip. So, 4 years times dozens of hours every week. Do the math.
Yeah, exactly. So it's safe to say that you've put in thousands of hours of research and effort into this.
Absolutely, no question.
Okay. Well, Craig, can I, on your behalf, request a debate between yourself and the citizen investigation team members, between your detractors and those that are so actively working against you?
Well, I'm not going to put out a blanket invitation for debate, no. We do specifically challenge individuals to debate, and we have in our forum, and that does exist. So, if you're able to get any of those people to agree, we'd certainly be happy to live up to it. People who've actually written the articles against us and have real names, and therefore aren't afraid to put their names behind their claims. Specifically, Victoria Ashley, Jim Hoffman, Chris Sarnes, and not too many others who've written articles, I believe. However, I would still be willing to debate someone like Michael Wolsey, who's definitely led attacks against us, public attacks against us. So those are the two qualifications. If they've headed up public attacks against us or put out deceptive articles trying to cast doubt on our work, yes, I'll be happy to debate them.
Okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and issue that challenge to debate on your behalf. Is there anything that you would like to say about the censorship and the suppression that you faced, and has there been any personal cost to you from what's happened?
No, actually, it's been ignored, dutifully ignored by the mainstream media. So it really hasn't had any repercussions negatively in my life. Certainly the government hasn't done anything. And because the work we've done is just so definitive and easy to understand in my personal life, or anybody, even within the 9/11 truth movement, when I meet people at conferences, at events, we typically get nothing but praise. And our detractors, or the people who are against us, are a very relatively small group of people online who don't seem to show up at events and aren't willing to challenge us in person. I mean, just now we were in Europe, and I was in London, and we've got a couple of I don't know if they're teenagers, but juveniles in London who like to make these silly hit piece videos against us, but they didn't show up to the presentation to challenge me to my face. So that's pretty much what we've experienced. Basically, it's nothing but positivity and then silence from the mainstream. Right.
Well, I issued a number of questions in writing to the people at 9/11 Blogger and to a wide variety of people who are involved with this issue, and I've received no response whatsoever from anybody at 9/11 Blogger. In fact, they've refused completely to respond in any way to this issue.
You even acknowledge that you sent them an email, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's typical. That's what we've received already from all of our. As I said, we have formal debate challenges to many of these people already on our forum, and they've ignored them. So it is ironic that we're getting the same type of treatment from these people that the mainstream media as to how they treat the 9/11
right.
people questioning 9/11 in general.
Right. Well, Craig, in closing, is there anything that you would like to say? Can you direct people who are not familiar with it to your presentations and to your blog?
Sure. Well, our website, citizeninvestigationteam.com, is where you want to go, and there you can view our latest presentation, National Security Alert, for free, as well as download it for free. And I encourage everyone to familiarize yourself with the evidence and the information first. That's number one. And watching National Security Alert will do that. But also look into it further by perhaps clicking on the FAQ link and going through all the frequently asked questions. We have articles for all those. But then also looking into the other information. We have supplemental presentations that you can look at with additional witnesses. So, familiarize yourself with the information, and then click on the strategy tab and go through the step-by-step strategy to help us present this information to media and authorities and hopefully force a response.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Craig. I really appreciate you taking your time to talk to us today.
You bet, Adam. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.